Hey everyone, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Quick update on Erika. Kind of a very fascinating storm in some cases, but also kind of a frustrating storm from a meteorological standpoint because there's a lot of uncertainty. And typically in meteorology, we don't shy away from uncertainty. We like to let people know that there certainly is uncertainty in forecasts. But in this case, this is actually a much larger level of uncertainty, and let me tell you why. We'll go first to what's going on right now, and the first thing you notice, the circulation center with Erika is displaced well off to the north and west. The big-time thunderstorms are actually over in this region. You can see this big cluster of thunderstorms here, but the center is exposed. We sometimes call that naked, and it sounds kind of, sneaky and dirty when you say that. But what we mean by it is that the clothing or the thunderstorm or convective canopy has been shedded or drifted off to the east while the low-level center is exposed to the satellite image. There's strong westerly shear here, and that's what's producing that kind of displacement of the thunderstorms from the low-level center. The storm is tilted. Tropical systems like to be vertically stacked, straight up and down, if you're like stacking plates. In this case, think of a stack of plates being tipped over, and the lowest plate is the low-level center, and the plate that was on top is now all on the table off to the right. I'm going to put the infrared image on here because you can also see those large thunderstorm tops. It's a pretty impressive thunderstorm tops there off to the south and east, but nowhere near the center. The other thing you notice, pretty good outflow. These kind of feathery-looking cirrus clouds, at least there's some outflow above this. The problem is the shear is just killing it. Now, the future is very uncertain, and I'm going to tell you why. This is the water vapor loop. We've got a trough, obviously, over the central and southern United States right here. The flow is going like that. We got a ridge of high pressure here, so the flow is going like that. So naturally, you think it's going to get up in here. The problem is it's been trending more westerly than northwest. It hasn't made that northwest turn, and that's important for a couple of reasons. These mountains here over the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Puerto Rico are huge. They will shred this storm. So the next 48 hours, there's a very small window here between now and late Friday, I believe, where the storm could dissipate completely. But if it limps through and makes it up into the southern Bahamas, then all bets are off, because then if it gets up in this region, it's got favorable conditions, really warm, sauna-like bath water, honestly, up there, and the potential that it could get much stronger. So when you start looking at the intensity forecast, this is for Erika, you can see how most of the intensity is pretty low, but some of the models start to shed off and go bonkers here after 3 days this weekend, and those models are up in this range, the category 3-4 range. But I should also notice there's a big cluster of storms down here that keep it a tropical storm, and then right in the middle is where you're going with the forecast. This spread between the two is huge. To give some confidence in a forecast, you really would like to see these all clustered, maybe like right around it here. That's not the case. And everybody who wants to focus on this could be a Cat 4, realize the chances of that happening are just as likely as it dissipating completely. So you got to take those outliers kind of out of the realm of possibility and kind of go down the middle. We call that ensemble forecasting, and that's kind of what we're sticking with right now. And speaking of those models, here's a look at the track. And the reason I show this track, because it has the wind fields kind of probabilities, we call it the probability of tropical storm force winds. I like how wide it is. This will also show you how uncertain the future is, because the wider you see these uncertainties here, kind of notice the bulb at the end of the track. That tells you that the guidance, the Hurricane Center, me, we're all uncertain what's going to happen in there. But I'm not convinced it's going to make it this far, because it's already south of Puerto Rico, and if it moves through Hispaniola, we could see this thing fall apart completely. And on top of that, look at the model guidance. Let me show you all the models here, and I'll show you all of them because I like showing you every single one. This one down here, that's extrapolation. Don't look at that. That's just if it keeps moving forward. Pretty tightly clustered here, though. You notice there's a trend back to the west. The storm is already west of a lot of the tracks that were run overnight. So as it pushes up into the Bahamas, this is where it becomes a little more interesting. There's a big cluster right down the middle, and that's where the Hurricane Center track is. Right in this area, you see that big cluster there. There's a whole bunch out here, and there's even a few in the Western Gulf. So we will see what happens in the next 24 to 36 hours. But right now, I would just pay attention. Do not change your plans, because there's a chance this could fall apart. But also, be very mindful. Stay weather aware. This is the first storm of the season. Could be the first hurricane to impact Florida in 10 years. You stay weather aware, because the high end, the worst case scenario, is pretty bad. Could be a big storm if it makes it up there, but I should always emphasize the big ifs. Please stay tuned to NBC Charlotte, and me right here will keep things up to date as we go through the weekend. If you have a cruise, vacation plans, and then eventually the Carolinas. Remember, the Carolina coast is not out of play yet either, so something we'll keep an eye on by the middle of next week. Hope you have a great day. We'll have updates starting today at 4 o'clock on NBC Charlotte. I'll see you then.